House in Baltimore and I don't really know Andrew Perloff very well. I know him from television and from – you're becoming sort of famous, man, like walking around.
What?
The Dan Patrick Show, everybody watches the Dan Patrick Show, right? I mean, literally.
Well, that's so funny because, I used to wander around this hall. I worked for Sports Illustrated, and I still do, for now 12 years. And I was here. No one knew who I was. Then I go, Dan Patrick Show is a Danette, and now I can't walk down the streets.
Well, okay, but how did McLovin happen? I want to know more about this.
Okay, so there was a column I wrote, and one of the fans wrote, "Dude, you look like McLovin from Superbad's uncle." And so Dan started calling me McLovin's uncle. And then the uncle quickly fell off. It's hard to say that many words on radio, so he just started calling me McLovin. And then, like with a nickname in this industry, you got to change it quickly or it'll stick. So like 3 months in, I'm like, Dan, can you stop calling me McLovin? He's like, all right, I'll try. And then he didn't stop. And now 9 years later, I've been with Dan. No, sorry, 8 years. It's still McLovin.
Well, for you to be a part of this, that Dan Patrick Show, first off, I've owned the station for 17 years. So there's this really beautiful redheaded woman who came up to me maybe 10 years ago.
Oh, Karen Peterson.
Yeah, absolutely. Chicago, Illinois, maybe? Yeah. She came up to me and wanted to put the Dan Patrick Show on my station. Dan's going to be doing this thing, the ESPN, and left this and that, and he probably did something else after he was with Olbermann or whatever. And the radio show was happening, and he was owning it himself. And she was asking me, because I've owned my own gig.
Yeah.
Most people in the room don't own their own gig, And she asked me some stuff, and I ran your show for a period of time off the syndication, and then I ended doing syndicated radio just because it wasn't as profitable as doing local radio, Local people want local stuff, and your stuff's available on Sirius, The Bird, here, there, the web. It was very easy to get your show. But I don't want 9 guys in my studio and a whole team and the Howard Stern.
And
right.
for some people it does. But, I mean, Dan's got a combination of talent and savvy, and he had guts to break out on his own. It's rare to do that. It's not like anything was handed to him when he left ESPN. He had to work hard, and he had to really start. He started with one station. When he left the ESPN Dan Patrick Show, he really had a station in L.A., and that was really all that was guaranteed. It's not just talent. It's not just knowing the right people. It takes a lot of guts to go out on your own, I think.
Well, and then he found you guys, right? Like all of you came from a different
There are 4 Danettes. 3 of them came from his show at ESPN. I'm the outlier. I came from Sports Illustrated. Dan, one of the first deals he signed when he left ESPN was with Sports Illustrated. Had a column in the magazine, and I was assigned. And he's like, why don't we just put you on a couple times? And then a couple times became like every day, and then it went from there.
I'll say this. I've only met Dan Patrick 2-3 times in my life, and a long time ago, back in the 90s. He was incredibly kind, magnanimous.
Yeah. Dan is... he'll get a beer. Like some guys are like, Tom Brokaw, like pretend that they'll get a beer with the average fan. Dan will really get a beer. He'd rather get a beer with the average fan. He has no interest in hobnobbing with people at his own level. Like, he's totally just a down-to-earth, normal guy. And it's funny, when I first started to work for him, I went up to originally when he left ESPN, the studio was in his house. It was in the attic. And I came in, and I know Dan Patrick from TV. And then he starts singing these goofy songs like 10 seconds in when he meets me. Just like humming and making up words. I'm like, who is this? This is not the man I watch with Keith Olbermann on TV. He is as down to earth as they come.
You're a writer by trade, though.
Yeah.
Right? Or editor.
Editor. Actually, I was an editor-writer at Sports Illustrated. I edited Peter King and Dr. Z. I worked for a bunch of places. I worked for the NFL. Then I went to Sports Illustrated, edited Monday Morning Quarterback with Peter King. I was originally a copy editor, did some writing, and like everybody in this industry, dabble in a little bit of everything.
This has been an interesting journey for you from the writing side to this, because my background was in newspapers as well, and I wound up. I didn't choose to do radio. Radio kind of picked me.
Yeah.
And owning radio kind of picked me. I didn't set out to, like, one day I'll own a radio. It is amazing for you to now sort of be semi-famous from this role in this ensemble. Where's the thing done now?
Wait, what's that?
The show.
Yeah.
Where's that thing done? Where's your studio?
Oh, okay.
It's Connecticut?
Yeah, we're in Milford, Connecticut. Then we have a New York studio, too. So once in a while, you'll see we have more in-studio guests. You can see the cars in the background. But 99% of the time, we're in Milford, Connecticut, Dan's hometown. We was basically this room above a bar that was available. And Dan saw, he's like, you know what? I could turn this into a studio, put in a virtual golf simulator and a hoop, and we have the perfect man cave.
Yeah, I don't know where you get all the toys. That's another thing. It's a lot going on there. A lot of distractions to keep you away from sports radio.
Yeah, well, we're on TV, too. TV star, obviously. So part of that is to have some content during the commercial breaks, because the radio breaks are 6 minutes or whatever. So TV can't break that long. So Dan's like, how do I fill that time? I'm going to put a bunch of toys in the studio so we'll sort of, hang out and play with the toys.
Playing with toys. It reminds me of Slapshot,
Yeah.
Playing with the toys, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
A quarter. Machine took my quarter.
We were just talking about Slapshot on the show the other day. I don't know. How did that script get approved with Paul Newman, by the way? A team about a minor league? You can never make that today.
Yeah.
The bottle on
yeah,
the
with
end.
champagne, right, exactly. Yeah. That's something like it. Andrew Perloff joining us here. He is McLovin on the Dan Patrick Show, as well as his own person out on Twitter as well. This game's fascinating, and the more we talk to people, I get the vibe the next 3 years we're going to be talking about Belichick and Brady at least one more time. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's coming to the end. I mean, last year we saw the end of Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
This cat, I have no idea. I mean, I know I hate him. I know I like to root against him. I know he's a cheater. I don't, I believe that there's less air in the balls. I believe there was a little bit of cover-up. I've had other people. But it's fun to hate him.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of fun to have a bad guy. I think so.
But I like him, though, as a personality. He just
like
seems
Giselle,
nice.
Dude. You just like Giselle.
You've been covering the NFL a long time. I think quarterbacks can play longer because it's all up here now. It's all about reading defense. Like, everybody can
if
throw.
You can protect them.
And he's the right team to protect him.
And if he can get rid of the ball quickly.
So, 3 years, 42, maybe more.
Think about Peyton Manning after neck fusion to go 4 years, 2 Super Bowls, and even though he was throwing Billy Kilmer pass at the end, that's kind of an amazing thing because when you consider how much the bad quarterbacks in this league get hit and get their heads taken off despite all the protections for them, and Manning could survive because he didn't get hit all that much the first 15 years of his career.
Yeah, well, it helped that he was in that division, the AFC South. Nobody can hit anybody there, but the funny thing is he still won a Super Bowl, Because I think the best thing he did in his last year was check into a run. That was the one thing he was smart of. So they put him back in the playoffs. I say Brady goes to 45. I think he tries. What do you think? Possible? Warren Moon did. Vinny did.
I think there gets to be a point where you're trying to prove the unprovable.
Yeah.
To spike the ball in a way that could never. You can never be caught, right?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, Lou Gehrig thought that, and Ripken caught him, right? And, I guess we thought the Steelers' run in the 70s. Well, this has outdone that. I mean,
with the salary cap era, definitely.
Yeah.
Although, I did see a highlight of that on the NFL Films the other day. Those teams were really good because they did stay together, though. They didn't lose their free agent.
Well, they didn't deal off their number one linebacker in Week 8 and lose their world-class tight end in Week 9. And Luke has all sorts of football stuff he wants to throw in here.
I want to go back to the point about Brady and how long he can do this. It does strike me, though, if you look in the history of the league, even guys who played into their late 30s, they suddenly fall off a cliff at some point. And Manning, it's a tough example because he had his neck, 4 neck surgeries. But you look at how great he was in 2013. Started the year 7 touchdowns against the Ravens. Unbelievable season. We saw maybe late in the year, maybe not quite as much zip on the ball. 14, a little more of a decline. And then we saw what we saw last year, which, God bless Peyton Manning, but he was
done.
Peyton Manning only in
like
name.
Ray Lewis in the San Francisco game.
Yeah,
he was done.
So I guess my point with Brady, I hear you. I mean, at this point, it feels like, he says he feels better than he did at age 29, but at some point I do wonder if he eventually hits the brick wall, and then how does he cope with that? How does Belichick, how did the Patriots cope with that?
Well, I wonder, though, is it that you lose interest in doing all the work? Brady kills it in the offseason, right?
Yeah.
Brett Favre, he had that great season the first year in Minnesota. Then he clearly lost interest in doing the work. He had the physical skill, right? It's not that your arm goes. It's, I think, love of the game, maybe.
You just get tired of it, right?
Yeah, you have to work so hard, right?
This isn't easy to do, although they make it look easy.
Yes.
Brady's still obsessed with it.
And,
and that's, look, I'm flying to Australia next week to see Bruce Springsteen, right? So I'm chasing Springsteen around Australia, New Zealand. The first question is, what the hell is a 68, 69-year-old man doing halfway across the world, playing a show every other night in these stadiums with this entourage and this band? And you know why? Because it's like oxygen to him.
Yeah.
It's where the night I'm in Auckland, New Zealand, in a stadium where it might be 45 degrees and raining sideways, might be. That's where he wants to be.
How does he do it physically, though? I haven't seen him in a little while.
It's unbelievable.
Does he still move around like he's a young man?
Yes, he's still crowd surfing. I'll have my hand on his ass in the crowd, pushing him through the crowd in Brisbane because he will do he still does it every night. The one thing he doesn't do anymore, he doesn't do the running kneel and the slide. He doesn't do that anymore.
He's done that recently, like within the last 10 years.
Yeah,
5 years ago. Yeah, I remember he was here at a Super Bowl.
He would wet down his knees, and he had knee pads on.
Really?
He added like catcher's knee pads.
How does he get the love of it, though? You're saying he needs to do it.
No, he wants to do it.
Yeah.
It's important to him.
I feel like He
gets as much out of doing it. It's different with Brady. I mean, it's not turning on Patriot fans. He's turning himself on. I mean, I think it's to do this, it's much more.
Here's my theory.
It's too much violence involved in it to be doing it for adulation.
I will say this, as we're talking about desire, I do wonder if now that it's all over and he served his suspension, I do wonder if Deflategate has driven him to maybe play longer than – if you'd asked him 3 years ago, he might have said, you know what, I win one more title. I'll go retire and be with Giselle on a beach the rest of my life. Well, I do wonder if that, for what was already an amazing competitor, if that's just driven him to be, all right, I'll stick it up there, you know what, for the next 4 years, fine.
Well, I have a hot take here. I don't know that he wants to spend all that time with Giselle. I mean, honestly, I don't know that being married to Giselle is all that fun. Maybe he plays an extra 2 years to stay out of the house.
Maybe.
Well, I find it fascinating for anybody at the end who's doing any of this, the violent side.
Yeah, that's true.
Baseball is such an incredible grind and a commitment.
Yeah.
I think the NBA, you get paid a lot. But even hockey players going into their late 30s and every other night getting out there and slamming around, you have to still love it. The minute you have $100 million and you got a ring on your finger and your legacy is solidified, it's too hard. This is what they do. I think fans don't understand how hard it is.
Well, I got to tell you, I don't really want to. I'm sure I'll be in this business. I'll be forced to retire someday, hopefully a long way. I don't really ever want to stop working. I'm not looking forward to sitting on a beach. I think people think in America, think about work as duty too much and not as a privilege to work sometimes. I mean, I could be crazy. Maybe I'm.
Well, what we do is a life.
Yeah.
I mean, we really do something that even though we don't love it as much as we used to for all of us. I've been doing this 32 years. I mean, it's not Pollyanna for me anymore. You know,
right.
I've had my press pass taken away by the Orioles. I've had challenges. It's not as innocent as maybe it was when we all wanted to just go to a Super Bowl for the first time or whatever. But there's nowhere. I said to Luke earlier in the week, I don't know what else I would do with mine. What would Dan Patrick do with his life? We've dedicated so much of it, of us to it, and so much of our free time, our hobby time, our travel time, our work time, our play time, our social time. It's all around this.
Totally.
And you take this out, we see these military guys come by and say, I'm out of the military. I don't have a team anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not on a football team anymore. And you see guys deteriorate when they're not a part of it. I think for the media people and for the players, there's an end to that. They tap you on the shoulder and say, you can't do this anymore.
Yes.
Even Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And then the first thing he's going to do is go back into managing football and running football.
Something competitive.
That's what he does.
He's a competitor.
Yeah, and I think for people in the media, this is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's all you know how to do.
Yeah, I think if Dan ever decides to retire, which I hope he never, and Dan, if you're listening, do not retire, I think he'll sit around in his house and have a talk show with just his buddies. You know,
Host a real Jeopardy.
Yeah, he'll have, that could happen, or more sports Jeopardy. But I think he
Alex Trebek retires, and it's the end of your career, Perloff.
Oh, wait, you don't think I can write a Jeopardy question or two? All right, you want me to quiz you guys? You know, he has Sports Jeopardy, too, on NBC Sports Network. And, you know, the Danettes competed. And let me see. I don't know. Did you guys see the episode? Because I'll give you the final question, see if you know it. Okay. Okay. This person has a plaque in Yankee Stadium and Monument Hall saying, we belatedly recognize a great achievement. Which Yankee? The category was Yankees Monuments.
Okay.
This player's plaque read, we belatedly recognize a great achievement.
I don't know. Thurman Munson. I'm making it up now.
Thurman Munson was one answer.
Okay.
I answered Lou Gehrig because I thought he had passed away. I was wrong. What do you got?
I don't know.
Roger Maris, because they didn't recognize the home run record.
Right,
He didn't play it enough.
The asterisk.
The asterisk. I got it wrong and lost.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
But Dan, you should see Dan hosting Sports Jeopardy if you've never seen it. It's hysterical. When someone gets it wrong, he's got that stare at you. Dan Patrick stare at you like,
how dare you,
idiot.
Yeah.
You idiot.
How could you not know this?
You idiot. Yeah.
Andrew Perloff is the producer for Dan Patrick McLovin and Dan Etz and all that other good stuff, and making his maiden voyage here at WNST. Who's going to win?
I got the Patriots, and I'm going with a weird
You're
score.
an awful person.
31-26, because you never see a 26 in a Super Bowl score. I don't know if it's going to be a missed extra point, a safety. I think a close game, but I think, what's funny? The storyline that is not getting enough attention is how good the Patriots offense is. Everything's
They're going to put 31 up, right?
Oh, for sure.
And then it's just going to be whether Ryan throws a couple of picks or, and quite frankly, I think the Falcons have come out strong. Putting 7 or putting 10 up early and getting the Patriots playing from behind, I think that would change the game, make it more interesting in the fourth quarter. Because if the Patriots go up 14-3 in the first quarter, good night, Irene, as far as I can tell.
Who gets a fourth quarter stop?
The Patriots are great in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they are.
And
that's probably why you give them the edge. And
they got that red zone defense.
But it's that, this is a first to 30, first to 31. So that's what it feels
Belichick with
like.
2 weeks, it's hard to bet against.
I know. Did you guys make picks yet?
You know what? I hate them so much. I won't. I think
we'll
they're
make
going to
our
win.
picks Friday.
I really do believe they're going to win. And all week long, I'm trying to find ways that
Convince
they lose.
yourself.
Put it this way:
when the Ravens went up to New England back in December, they kicked the ball around a little bit. Strangely, the Patriots did.
Yeah.
I've never seen them kick the ball around, but they let the Ravens. They outplayed they embarrassed the Ravens, and they made 2 huge mistakes.
That made it a game.
And that made it a game. And to me, a couple of huge mistakes, which don't happen often on this stage on a Patriot team, that is the opportunity for the Falcons, for me. I think straight up, the Patriots will just beat them because they won't make mistakes.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think it's going to be close, though. I hope so. And I'm like you. I'm not a Patriot hater, but I'm just rooting for a good Super Bowl.
The kind of pass that goes off a shoulder pad, and goes up in the air, and that's the kind of thing that will allow the Falcons to win.
Yeah. The Texans did a little bit, but we'll see.
It's great seeing you, man.
Yeah,
thanks for
That
always
was
being
really
fun with us, man. Thanks for visiting.
Yeah.
Great admiration for the whole ensemble. I know what every time I put that on in the middle of the night, I say to my wife, I'm like, you know how much work goes into doing that? I know what I do. I enjoy my thing. I don't want your gig, but I do like watching it.
Yeah.
It looks like a lot of work and a lot of meetings and
no,
stuff
it is.
that I'm not
But
involved
by the way, I feel really good that you guys didn't get that Sports Jeopardy question right, because I got it wrong and I felt like I didn't know enough. But you're right with me.
Now I feel angry because I just remember the Billy Crystal film,
Yes,
61.
yes,
I just
yes,
watched
yes,
that
yes,
again
yes.
like 2 months ago.
It's a good film.
I know.
Really
I
good.
saw it too. I
really like that one.
You're under the bright lights. You panic.
Yeah,
All right, thanks, guys.
HBO does good work. So does the Dan Patrick Show. He's Andrew Perloff joining us here. We're live on Radio Row. It's all things Super Bowl 51 here in Long. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Taos in Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports. She went West Coast.
No.
And then the Orioles got good.
And then the Ravens won the Super Bowl and the Orioles went to the playoffs. What the heck happened? The year I left.
Well, you missed all the fun, but you're having fun, right? This is
I'm
a
having
great
ball.
gig. This
and
is
I've never left. My heart is still in Maryland.
in Canton somewhere in the Safeway in the produce aisle.
Somewhere on the square, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. How's life? Good?
Great.
What's your role this week?
Great.
You're doing tons of
I'm
stuff.
doing, I'm hosting Super Bowl tonight with Deion Sanders, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Chris Rose. The 4 of us will be on 7 o'clock at night, East Coast time. And if you didn't make it to Houston, but you want to feel like you're here, watch our show. We're going to be out with the concerts and the celebrities, and it's
We'll be drinking and
fun.
watching NFL Network
Well,
as part of the deal. You're going to talk a lot about this game. I can't. You left to go to NFL Network. This guy's still playing football. This guy still might win. 2-3 years from now, I said Minneapolis, Atlanta, and I think Miami. If you give me $1 right now, I'm assuming I have another week of Belichick and Brady bile in me.
it's amazing to hear a Ravens fan that you.
I rooted for the Steelers last week. That's where this
Wow.
thing is going.
See, I think that's too far.
That's where this thing's going. I dislike cheaters, although Mike Tomlin did stick his foot out on Jacoby Jones, and I do bring that up with him as often as I can. There's
I'm not going to get in a debate about Deflategate, cheating or not. I do not think that has an effect on Tom Brady winning 4 Super Bowls in almost 5.
Thank you.
I do not think that.
You just think he's cute or something. Come on.
No, I'm actually the only one that doesn't think this, because we get into this debate all the time with Dave Damashek and Willie McGinnis, his former teammate.
Defenders.
So all of the girls, the women at the network or that work in makeup and hair, we always have this debate, like they love Tom Brady, and I say I just don't get it. Like he doesn't do it. Clearly he's married to a supermodel, so he doesn't care what I think. But it is not because I think he's cute. It's because I think he is the greatest of all time, and I think he's going to pass Joe Montana. this weekend.
Well, and it's going to be hard to make any other argument in the
It
modern
is.
era. I mean,
I'm talking
I can't make an
unbiased,
argument against him being the greatest football player of all time.
No.
And I think they're going to win this week, but we're all trying to find ways that the Falcons are going to get this done. And I think it's going to come down to they're going to have to make mistakes. The Patriots are going to have to screw up.
I flew in with Heath Evans yesterday, former Patriot, and I was looking over the research, and we were both doing our research, and I just looked, somewhere over Nevada. I looked at him and I said, I don't see how the Falcons win this game. And he said the Patriots have to make 2 vital mistakes.
And the Falcons have to score off of it.
Exactly. They have to
field goal's not going to be good enough.
And the Patriots don't make mistakes. They don't turn the ball over. So I don't see it happening. And also, this is the key. And everybody talks about Tom Brady and Matt Ryan and the great Atlanta offense. Defense still wins championships. We are Baltimoreans. We believe in that.
I would have brought you a crab cake and a beer. You talk like this.
Exactly, right?
You get me all ready.
We believe the defense wins championships because they do. And remember, 2 years ago in New York when we saw Peyton Manning bring the #1 offense in NFL history into that game against the Seattle Seahawks, what happened? They got embarrassed.
Bad thing. Well, the snap went over his head to start the game.
And then it went south. Okay, so but that defense was a strong defense, a great defense.
Sure.
And everybody talked about Peyton Manning leading up to that and how great his offense. I don't think Matt Ryan. The moral of the story is I don't think Matt Ryan in this offense, no matter how great they are, no matter how many weapons they have. The Patriots' defense is not talked about a lot, but they are very good defense, and that's
because they don't have a Hall of Fame player. That they don't have a Ray Lewis and Edry. They don't have that anchor person. And a lot of people thought Collins was going to be that anchor. A lot of people thought Chandler Jones was going to be that anchor.
But he doesn't fit in. The Patriots have always been the sum of their parts. They're the sum. They're not one guy or one part. Hi, there's our media. There's Willie McGinnis right there and Alex Reese-Miller.
They're Patriots. I avoid them this week. I have nothing to do with Patriots this week.
Come on. You have to, Willie's a nice guy and Heath is a nice, all of
They've
our
all
Patriots
here.
are very nice men.
But they're not from Maryland.
But they aren't, which makes them inferior to everyone.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Real quick, Amber, because I know you have to go. Thoughts on the Orioles this year? How excited are you? What do you think?
You know what?
Watch them a lot.
I do.
Okay.
I'm diehard. I'm not going to leave
All
that.
right.
I just work, Adam Jones, I feel like to me he'll always be like a little brother to me because I remember him coming over from Seattle and he didn't have any friends on the plane and he and I became friends because nobody talked to him.
I don't have a press
All
pass.
right.
I don't know him.
Well, I know Adam Jones well. And kudos, Adam, for speaking out this week and saying the rest of the outfield needs to get better. He wants to win. For so long, I covered losing teams in Baltimore that they didn't have that winning mentality. They wouldn't call each other out. Everybody was too nice.
They didn't have good enough players.
Exactly. And for Adam to say, we need better players in the outfield. Because some people say, oh, don't call out your teammates. And don't call. No.
He was saying what we've all been saying.
He wants to win.
No, it sounds to me
Good
like
for
he
him.
was calling out the owner.
I have no problem
Which
with
I've
that.
done. I mean, at the end of the day, it does come down to the owner. The reason the Patriots are great is because of Bob Kraft. The reason this thing's worked out in Atlanta is because Arthur
I think
Blank's
he was
done a nice
also
job.
calling out Duquette to get the players.
Duquette works for someone.
Well, yeah. But
He has
he does have
budget
discretion
constraints,
on where he's going to spend his money, and Adam's saying do it in left and right field.
Sure.
And what Adam does for the community, the man he has become, I know I'm speaking like an old, crotchety old sister, but what he has become and watching him over the years, over the past decade, I'm so proud of him, love him to death, still love the Orioles, and I will live to see them back in the World Series. I will live
Came
to
close.
see that.
Can't wait.
I
Came
will
close.
live to see it, I know.
All right. Well, we enjoy your work. It's always fun to put on the TV, see you there. See Melissa. I mean, there's a lot of
There's a lot of Baltimore
Coach
people.
Billings driving
Yeah.
up from the great free state there.
Bill
getting it done.
Belichick.
It's true.
It's time for her to
He
go.
is a
leaving.
Neapolitan.
She's
Dropping
leaving.
the mic.
She's
Yeah.
dropping the mic.
Go O's.
Thanks, Amber.
Keep the peace. Amber Theo Harris of the NFL Network joining us here and coming home and hanging out with us a little bit here at WNST. We're live on Super Bowl Radio Row, Super Bowl 51. We're live in Houston, and you can find us out on the internet as well. You can find Luke, Baltimore Luke on Twitter, as well as Luke at WNST.net. I'm Nestor Aparicio on Twitter, Nasty at WNST.net, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, and streaming live on our Facebook. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports